5, it says here that this is the Kt.2 Award on behalf of Laniado Hospital, and it's to you, and it's got your Hebrew name, which is Chaim Moshe Marks, and it's my great privilege to give it to you because it's really, truly, richly deserved. I'm staying up here to make sure he doesn't talk for too long.
Or in case I faint. He's a doctor, after all. I'm speechless. I can't help feeling that I'm genuinely speechless. I certainly didn't expect this, and here we are. I must first begin by saying, Your Excellency, Chief Rabbi, Father Michael Seed, Lord, ladies and gentlemen, such kind words. As I said, leave me speechless, but only to the extent that when I see a couple of microphones, I get revived. It's a very, very dangerous thing. As Michael was speaking, I tried not to listen, but this happened to me once before, many, many years ago, and I had hoped that the event had been forgotten. Were I to say to Michael that he's chosen the wrong man for this would be a discourtesy to the very kind people who obviously helped him select me. Were I to say you've chosen the right person, well then you know you've certainly got the wrong person. But I've no alternative other than to say, to use a phrase that is sometimes used in synagogue on certain occasions, concerning the bestowing of good to the unworthy, Hagomel lechayovim tovot. In other words, we thank the deity for being good to us, although we are yet unworthy. I have difficulty in choosing the right words now. I thought of something, but I find that the right thing sort of the moment I open my mouth, it eludes me, rather like lokshen on a fork. The last few days have been absolutely momentous. With the changeover of prime ministers, I hear that 10 Downing Street is empty at the moment. You get onto the telephone and you hear the answer phone saying, there is no one to take your call. Please leave your message after the moral tone. And talking about moral tones, what could be more moral, more upright and more beautiful than the concept of Laniado Hospital? It's very similar to that in Perea, which I'm well acquainted with. And what I heard this evening from Robert Seuss is so inspiring that I can understand why so many of you are here tonight. I think the moral tone for the whole of Laniado was set by one of the founding men, the Klausenberger Rebbe, whose son Michael introduced me to, and we all received a blessing from. He's one of the most saintly men, the Klausenberger Rebbe and his son, that I've ever had the honor of meeting. Having been to the gates of hell and never weakening in his faith, he taught me through his writing that we can believe in God after Auschwitz. And as Robert Seuss so ably put it, he lost his wife and 11 children, and after all that suffering, he was still able to think in terms of, I must do something for humanity, and to have Muslims, Jews, Christians, all in one hospital, with Muslim, Jewish and Christian doctors available, is one of those great sort of foresights of which we can all be very proud. Well, I've missed out a tremendous amount of what I would like to have said, and I think my time is up, but I must thank you, Michael, the dinner chairs, Yo-Yo Alaluf, Robert Seuss, your fantastic dinner committee, and my dear friends, Yale, Lyra, and those I've failed to mention at the moment. This evening is truly an affirmation of our faith in uncertain times and in difficult times. And if I say, Al Tifrosh min Hatzibur, Michael, you have never left the community. So long as I've known you, you are connected with the community. And I think this evening is a tremendous triumph for what you have done. This Kiddush Cup will be used this immediate Friday night, together with this lovely, lovely plate, and I shall treasure it forever. I don't know what my children will say. They say, Dad, what the hell's going on? But I'll try not to explain to them, and I hope there won't be a video of this. Anyway, in the meantime, Michael, bless you. Thank you, everybody. And if you have been, thank you for listening.
Your Excellency, Chief Rabbi, Father Seed, my Lord, ladies and gentlemen, I would first like to thank you all for coming here this evening to support a cause which is very close to my heart. This evening would not have been possible without the generosity of our two main sponsors, Investec and the Khalili family, who unfortunately could not be with us tonight as they are abroad with one of the other important projects. Marian and David, along with their children Dan, Benji and Rafi, have been instrumental in this evening with their generosity and time. The Khalili family ethos is building bridges between different societies and religion. This is an integral part of the philosophy of the Laniado Hospital. We're all one family. I would therefore like to give my deepest thanks to the Khalili family for all the support, and to Investec for the great contribution to this important cause. Israel is one of the most misunderstood nations. Global society in general does not realize just how many people within the region have dream of hope, peace, and coexistence. It gives me great pleasure and is an honor to introduce our guest speaker, who came especially from New York because of his belief in our cause. He is a man who is a true representative to the world of our identity and pride. He is the UN Ambassador for Israel, His Excellency Ambassador Dan Gilman.
Thank you. Thank you, Yo-Yo, for this introduction and for all you're doing. And thank you all for being here. I must start with an apology. As you can probably tell, I'm very hoarse, which is the result of not only the occupational hazard of being Israel's ambassador at that building on First Avenue, but having spent the last 24 hours with the Israeli Prime Minister in New York, I really couldn't be here. I shouldn't have been here. Because I hosted the Prime Minister yesterday at my home in New York together with the Secretary General of the UN, and was then asked by him to accompany him on his trip to Washington and a meeting with President Bush. But when we sat down for lunch, I explained both to the Prime Minister and to the Secretary General that I had to go. And they said, why? What's so important? And I said, I have to address a special evening, a gala evening for the Laniado Hospital. And the Secretary General looked up and said, Laniado Hospital, isn't that the hospital we flew over by helicopter when you took me to see how narrow the waist of Israel was, how vulnerable it was, how essential the security fence was? Wasn't that where we hovered over the place where that horrible Passover massacre happened in Pesach a few years ago, and you then pointed out to me a hospital not far away where some of the wounded were treated with such dedication and such care? And I said, yes, that's exactly the place and that's where I'm going. And both he and the Prime Minister said, then you must go. So I'm here tonight instead of meeting the President of the United States tomorrow. And I still believe my priorities are right.